Okay. Syncing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, so it looks like we are live. Let's try and see if we can share this stream. Let's try and see if we can share this stream to. It's already shared on Instagram. Okay. Share it on Twitter. Okay, just putting the word out here that we are live. And now and post. There we go. Hit sent. Just want to double check here because and I'm sneezing, of course. Lovely. Sensational, might I add. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so Darlington, throwback weekend. But, it's throwback weekend, but if I'm being honest, this year I was not feeling it. Or rather, not that many drivers were feeling it. And that applies for all three series. So many drivers showed up without a throwback, which in retrospect, I honestly should have seen this coming, considering we didn't see a lot of throwback reveals leading up to this race. I didn't think much of it, and I thought we'll probably see them get released in bunches. Maybe some teams decided to keep their paint schemes a secret until throwback weekend. But no, as it turns out, those teams, they didn't have any plans to run a throwback scheme at all, which was honestly disappointing, especially considering the missed opportunities that were out there regarding some drivers. There's some unexplored potential regarding throwback schemes. That's just a whole different topic in and of itself. Shit, someone's calling me on my phone. I really got to take this call. Okay, you know what? Let's do it. I mute the audio here. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I'm pretty sure I muted the audio on that before taking the call. So, okay. So, so that little bit of a phone call, that little bit of an interruption aside. Um, yeah. So Nick Sanchez won the pole, but he will start from the rear due to replacing the hub on the right rear after qualifying, as the team found that it was leaking. So it's going to be the second straight race. For the second straight race, he will be starting from the rear. Then Corey Heim in second. Since Sanchez is sent to the rear, he will be the control car, kind of like the pole sitter for the race. With Taylor Gray third, Kyle Busch fourth. Believe it or not, this is his first ever truck start at Darlington, and also making his fifth and final start of the season, as Cup drivers are only allowed to make 5 truck starts per year, the maximum allowed, obviously. Then Tanner Gray in 5th, Ross Chastain in 6th, also making his second start of the year, driving the Nice 45. And then Christian Eckes, Lane Riggs, Grant Enfinger, and Daniel Dye rounding out the top 10. Then we have Stuart Friesen in 11th. Ben Rhodes in 12th, who, by the way, has a new crew chief now. He swapped crew chiefs with, or rather, ThorSport decided to make a swap between Ben Rhodes and the 13 team of Jake Garcia. So now Ben Rhodes has Doug Randolph atop his pit box, and Jake Garcia has Richie Luscious. And first of all, I gotta say, what the fuck? Just thinking, I'm not just saying that because, you know, Richie Luscious, he is the crew chief that won Ben Rhodes the title. Well, that's part of it, but mostly, I'm just mostly perplexed because of how something always changes with that team. Either be it the number, the car number, or the manufacturer, or in this case, the crew chief. Something always happens. Something's always changing with that 99 team, with Ben Rhodes, with Ben Rhodes and his team. Like, they just cannot stay consistent. ThorSport just cannot stop experimenting with that guy. And of course, the guy just does his best to adapt to the changes. I mean, he's won 2 titles, so he definitely shows that he has a great capability of adaptation. But still, don't you guys think that it would be just better for Ben Rhodes if he just had like the same crew chief long term, the same manufacturer, same team, same car number, or truck number in this case? Just saying. But yeah, anyways, just some food for thought right there. Dean Thompson 13th, Jake Garcia 14th, which by the way has a better crew chief now. Doug Randolph just wasn't it for him. Ty Dillon 15th, Ty Majeski, Colby Howard, Ty Dillon 15th, Ty Majeski 16th, then Colby Howard in 18th, driving the one truck for Tricon. Chase Purdy 19th, and Matt Crafton 20th. Then Connor Jones 21st, Christian Wood. Did I just say Christian Wood? I was just thinking basketball for a moment there. It's Jack Wood. Jack Wood 23rd. Then Tyler Ankrum 24th. Raja Karuthi 25th. Raja hit the wall in qualifying, and the team managed to repair the car without the need of going to the backup, but they will still start at the rear due to those repairs being unapproved. And finally, Thad Moffitt 32nd. So no trucks failed to qualify. Only 32 trucks entered this race, and as I mentioned earlier, Sanchez and Raja, the only 2 guys going to the rear, no one else. So just like what happened with the Cup race last week, though, at Kansas, the start of this race was delayed due to rain. I literally turned on my phone when I clocked out of work to watch the race on stream while on my way back home, only to be met with a jet dryer parade. So at first, I thought the race would start at 8:30 when the sun started coming out. I even saw a rainbow for a moment, but then it started pouring again, and I was starting to doubt that the race would ever take place. But finally, after 2.5 hours of wait, at 10 p.m., the green flag waves and the race goes underway. We're going late night truck racing, guys. And as soon as the green flag drops, I kid you not, Kyle Busch makes his move to challenge Corey Heim for the lead from the 4th position. The 2 guys stay side by side until the backstretch, coming off turn 2, when Busch goes over the turn 2 hump. He wiggles, gets loose, spins out, and crashes hard on the left rear. I mean, with the left front of that car. Holy shit. What did I just watch? Did I just watch Kyle Busch wreck out early from a truck race? Like, okay, I know it is his first ever truck race at Darlington, but you just do not expect that from him, regardless of the circumstances. And I swear, if this is how the rest of the race was going to go, this shit was going to end at 3 a.m. And you already know, that bump in turn 2 was going to be a trouble spot all race long. Not to mention, the lady in black was dripping wet tonight too. No, I am not kidding. The track was still wet, or at least some parts of it near the outside safer barrier wall where some water was seeping into the track. So yeah, the lady in black is dripping wet, so we're in for a wild night. So we go to the restart. Corey Heim continues to lead, and then Ross Chastain just tries to challenge, but he hits the bump in turn 2, and he nearly wipes out the entire field. He's safe set, but he drops to 4th after being put in a 3 wide middle situation. This allows Taylor Gray to move up to 2nd and Eckes to 3rd, while Chastain is locked in a tight battle for 4th with Lane Riggs. When another caution comes out, And once again, it's Kyle Busch. I believe he said it in his post-race interview or in his post-crash interview that the car after that first crash on lap 2, that the car was not 100% drivable, especially at Darlington. And he was right, because he caught a right front tire, and he hit the wall hard. And just like that, his day is done. No, I am not kidding. Kyle Busch just wrecked out of a Truck Series race. You heard that right. And this is the first time since 2017 that this has happened, with Kyle Busch just having a DNF in the Truck Series. Even though it feels like so much more long ago, I was actually surprised at how recent it felt, because I swore before this stat came out, Kyle Busch's last DNF, I thought it came like in 2013 or 2014, not 2017. It just goes to show how much time flies, but still. It's just surprising that Kyle Busch's last DNF in the Truck Series came in 7 years ago. Even with all of... I know he's running part-time, but still. But yeah, we go to the restart. Corey Heim, he continues to lead, and now Ekes has moved up to second. We have some close calls on this run, most notably the double save from Grant Enfinger after Daniel Dye got into him not once, but twice in turns 1 and 2. And it ended up missing Dye's race because he got a flat tire out of it, and then after getting back on the track, his truck started sparking. It turns out he has some suspension damage from that contact. But other than that, stage 1 went green all the way, ending with Corey Heim and Christian Ekes battling for the stage win. Ekes managed to close the gap after being 1.5 seconds back for most of the stage, but Corey Heim held on to secure the stage win with Ekes second, Majeski third, Taylor Gray fourth, Lane Riggs, Ross Chastain, Dean Thompson, Ben Rhodes, Stuart Friesen, and Grant Enfinger rounding out the top 10. And Nick Sanchez, the pole sitter, up to 14th after starting from the rear. No competition caution too, despite the rain delay, which, once again, you'll love to see it. I think it was because qualifying, because I checked the report this morning on the Xfinity race today. That's going to be starting at 1 p.m., by the way. And I saw that there was going to be a competition caution on lap 20. That's probably because there was no qualifying held, and the Truck Series, they did have qualifying despite the rain delay. So I think that's why. I understand it, but I would just prefer drivers not throw a competition caution and let the drivers figure it out themselves, especially at a track like Darlington. It's been done before, so why not? So anyways, we go to pit road, the leader's pit, and Taylor Gray wins the race of pit road over Corey Heim and Ty Majeski, with Ekes dropping down to fourth. Connor Jones misses his pit stall, so he has to drive through pit road and come back in again the next lap. So we go to stage 2, and despite Corey Heim restarting on the bottom, he holds his own very well. Ekes pushing him on the restart definitely helped, but Majeski, who was behind Taylor, gave him a push on the backstretch to clear ahead of his teammate. But Corey Heim is still hot on his trail, staying within half a second of the lead until a caution comes out for a Spencer Boyd spin off turn 4. And we got some strategy on pit road. The leader, Taylor Gray, he pits for 4 tires, as well as Crafton, Raja Karuth, Jack Wood, and Matt Mills, while everybody else stays out. And on the restart, Ekes spins his tires despite restarting on the outside, allowing Corey Heim to pull away. And notice how Corey Heim has been choosing the bottom on every restart. He is about the only guy all race long that could make the bottom work, not only on the restarts, but also on the long run. So we got some close calls on this stage as well. Just like stage 1, stage 2 ended on a pretty decently long green flag run. But yeah, we had some close calls on this run too. We had Lane Riggs getting loose, and Sanchez and Ben Rhodes making contact as well right behind him. All of this happening in the backstretch of turn 2, aka the trouble spot. And then a few laps later, Taylor Gray on fresher tires, he tries to make a 3-wide pass in the middle of Nick Sanchez and Tyler Ankrum, and it nearly ends in disaster for the 3 of them. When Sanchez, he drifts up the track and gets into Taylor. Taylor makes contact with Tyler Ankrum, putting the 18 in the wall and giving him not 1, but 2 flat tires. I'm not kidding. I saw the look at the damage of Tyler Ankrum. I look at the replay, and then I look at him being slow entering pit road. He had the right front and the left front. They were both flat. And just like Daniel Dye in stage 1, obviously, Ankrum had to pit under green, and he fell 2 laps down. So once again, another McAnally truck with issues under and has to pit under green. All of this, however, is happening behind race leader Corey Heim, who cruises to the stage 2 win with a 2.5 second lead. It was 2 seconds. It was a 2 second lead for most of that run, with Ekes, Enfinger, and Majeski battling for second. But in the end, it was Raja Caruth on fresher tires who swooped in and stole the shine away from them. He takes second away and 9 stage points, with Christian Ekes, Ty Majeski, and Enfinger 3rd, 4th, and 5th, respectively. Then Matt Crafton in 6th, Lane Riggs in 7th, Ross Chastain, Taylor Gray, and Jake Garcia rounding out the top 10. Then we go to pit road. Everyone pits, and Enfinger wins the race of pit road this time, going from 5th to 1st. Majeski also moves up to 2nd over Corey Heim and Christian Ekes. Lane Riggs moves up to 5th. And Raja Caruth drops to 6th after a slow stop where he stopped too close to the pit wall, and his crew just, the Jackman just could not lift the car enough with the on the left side. He lost a lot of time there because of his bad entry. Also, Taylor Gray with an extended stop to repair damage he sustained from the contact with Sanchez and Ankrum in stage 2. I don't know if he lost a lap. I don't think he did. But he got to restart at the rear, at the tail end of the field. So we go to stage 3, and Grant Enfinger spins his tires on the restart, stacking up the outside lane. And let me be the first to tell you this now. That tire spin by Enfinger, that poor restart by Enfinger on the outside lane, that changed the entire race. Because when the outside lane was stacked up, Corey Heim, who was behind Enfinger on the restart, was now racing for 4th, side by side with his teammate Dean Thompson. And just like what happened with Kyle Busch on lap 2, Thompson drives over the bump in turn 2, and he spins out, gets loose, and he spins out underneath, on the inside of Corey Heim. But this time, however, Corey Heim is not so lucky. He gets put in the wall hard, and Dean Thompson's spin triggers a 6-truck accident. Obviously, Corey Heim was collected, but also Raja Caruth, Lane Riggs, Matt Crafton, Jack Wood, several strong trucks involved in that wreck. Once again, turn 2 at Darlington strikes again. And just like that, this race has become wide open. Ford could actually finally win a race in 2024 because now Ty Majeski is leading. You know, this was because this race had been the Corey Heim show all race long. I mean, you had Christian Ekes, Grant Enfinger, Majeski also was up there at times, and also Taylor Gray too. But now with Corey Heim out of the race, as well as Taylor Gray having issues, and Raja Caruth and Matt Crafton also out, and Lane Riggs, this race is wide open now. Ford could actually finally win a race in 2024 because Majeski is leading. This is now down to him, Ekes, and Enfinger. And then on the restart, Christian Ekes gets a great launch on the bottom and just powers past 98 on the bottom to take the lead. Well, that didn't last long. I thought for sure Ford had a shot. I don't even know why I even get my hopes up at this point. But then, as it turns out, Christian Ekes' truck, he started fading. I think the broadcast pointed out some smoke coming out the 19, some tire smoke. I don't know what that was all about. I didn't see any smoke coming from the 19, but he definitely looked slower. He looked noticeably slower. And Majeski, despite having pressure from Enfinger close behind him, he takes the lead with a gutsy move on the bottom. And by gutsy, I mean the guy was literally slipping and sliding. I don't know how he made it stick. That was a literal slide job to take the lead. And he just didn't stop there because Enfinger, who was running second, he also, passed Ekes for third. Enfinger was running second, and he picked up a huge-ass piece of debris, like a plastic bag that got stuck on his grill. And the temperatures, they rose like crazy. He tried to get it off by letting Ross Chastain by for a second and using his draft to get the debris out. But it didn't work. and he eventually had to pit once water started coming out from his truck, which was unfortunate for him because he had like a top 5, top 10 truck all night, and this could finally, but you know, on the plus side, this could finally be it for Ford because it's all up by now. Majeski, he was just cruising. 4-second lead now over the second place, Ross Chastain. And despite some close calls from the rest of the field, most notably Ty Dillon getting debris on his grill and almost blowing the engine if it wasn't for Enfinger coming in hot, and the 25 using his draft to blow the debris away. So water was coming out from that truck too. I thought for sure that Ty Dillon was going to blow the engine right there and a caution was going to come out. Because I was listening into some radio communications from the 25. They were not pitting. They were staying out until that engine blew. And I was like, if that engine blows and a caution comes out, Ford is so cooked. Because I did not see Ford. I knew something bad was going to happen if this race went into overtime. And unfortunately, it did. Because a caution came out for Jack Wood, blowing a right front tire with 5 laps to go and hitting the wall. Why can't it just come easy for Ford? I knew something bad was going to happen. I didn't know if it was going to be on pit road because, you know, the leaders, everyone pitted for tires. I knew something was going to happen. Something bad was going to happen. I don't know if it was going to be on pit road or on the overtime restart because this forced the race into overtime. And obviously, like I said, pit stops. This was the money stop, and everyone pitted for 4 tires. 2 tires ain't working at Darlington. The tire wear is just crazy at this track. But Majeski, he barely won the race of pit road over Ross Chastain with Jake Garcia in 3rd. So far, so good. We have 2 Fords in the top 3. But then, as soon as overtime begins, it all goes to hell. And again, in my defense, I already knew how this race would end for Ford. Chastain has a great launch on the bottom, while Majeski, who chose to restart at the top, is a bit slow to get up to speed. It's not like he spun his tires, but he didn't have a stellar restart. I believe he almost made contact with Chastain there, trying to side draft him. I don't know what that was all about. And then he almost gets put in the wall by Jake Garcia, you know, sending Colby Howard into him. 2 Fords in the top 3, and they almost wreck each other out. Go figure. So Jake Garcia ends up hitting the wall, and, you know, it's over for him. And while Majeski keeps it clean, he drops to 4th, and he just has no momentum to get back to the lead. And just like that, Ford has let another win slip away. They are 0 for 31 across all 3 National Series now. So all Ross Chastain has to do now is hold off Nick Sanchez, which he does with little issues, and he wins at Darlington. On the 5-year anniversary of Niece Motorsports' first win back at Kansas in 2019, which Chastain himself also won, which I didn't realize, and it was really cool. Which was really cool. No wonder why he was so excited about that win and winning with those guys. So yeah, man, I just don't know what to say about this race. Let's just look at the finishing results here. So Chastain won. He just stole that win away. He got a top 10 car all race long, but with the attrition, obviously, he took advantage of the attrition to win that race. He just literally stole that one away. So Nick Sanchez second. Great recovery from him after starting from the rear. Ben Rhodes third. First top 5 finish of the season on his first race with his new crew chief. Christian Eckes 4th, Ty Majeski 5th. After Ford having a 4-second lead and you know, with a caution of 5 laps to go, 2 Fords in the top 3, they could have won that race. All they get is a 5th place finish to show for it. I still cannot believe the pain that we Ford fans have to go through. Anyways, Chase Birdie 6th, Colby Howard 7th, Taylor Gray 8th, Ty Dillon 9th, and Tanner Gray 10th. Then, like I said, attrition. We saw some drivers that you usually don't see finishing this high, like Matt Mills in 11th, Lawless Allen in 12th, Timmy Hill in 13th. They get good top 15 runs. Stuart Friesen, obviously 14th. Mason Massey 15th. Grant Enfinger 16th. Great. He managed to salvage something after, you know, that piece of plastic just ended up ruining his, or taking a good run, a good finish away from him. Brett Holmes 17th. Not Brett Moffitt. Thad Moffitt 18th. Spencer Boyd 19th. And Jake Garcia 20th. He finished as the last car on the lead lap after putting himself in the wall, after restarting third. Then Lane Riggs 21st. Bailey Curry 22nd. He pitted late in stage 3 while running in the top 10. He probably had a flat tire, but that's something I noted and I probably skimmed over. But yeah, he pitted late in the race. Daniel Dye, another driver that had to pit under green. This happened in stage 1 due to a flat tire. He finished 23rd. Jack Wood 25th, who caused the last caution to force the race into overtime. Tyler Ankrum 26th, who again had to also pit after getting not one but 2 flat tires. This happened in stage 2. He finished 26th, multiple laps down. Corey Heim 28th. His top 10 streak is over. And not only that, he also gets his first DNF since Atlanta last year. So, his run of, his great stretch of, his great stretch of putting together consistency, it's gone. But, he'll bounce back next week at North Wilkesboro, I'm pretty sure. Then Dean Thompson 29th, Raja Carruth 30th, Matt Crafton 31st, and Kyle Busch in 32nd. His first career last place finish in the Truck Series, and it comes in his first ever truck start at Darlington. Go figure. Speaking of Kyle Busch, I'm going to say, the moment he crashed out, I thought this would be a sign of things to come and that this race will become a wreck fest. This race was going to end like at 3 a.m. With 3-4 overtimes, especially with no competition caution to help the drivers out. But I was honestly surprised how relatively clean these drivers ran tonight. I say relatively because we have plenty of close calls and contacts, but that was more of a product of drivers sleeping and sliding than anything else. It was a race of attrition for sure, especially towards the end, like Darlington races usually turn out to be. And it's honestly funny how Kyle Busch crashed out early on, and then the only other Cup driver in the field went on to win the race anyways. Also, notice how the bottom lane was the preferred lane on restarts. Obviously on the long run the top lane was better, but for whatever reason, drivers just could not get the top lane to work on the restart. They were just like spinning their tires. Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, also Ty Majeski having a poor final restart. I think some of the water seeping in onto the track, because like I said earlier, water was leaking in from the safer barriers into the track, into the outside lane of the track. And like the closer you get to the wall, the closer we're like running into the water. I believe some of that moisture played a part into the outside lane not being as dominant as it usually is. But yeah, Ross Chastain stole a win. Now we just sit back and watch the Xfinity race tomorrow or today. It's 20 minutes before the Xfinity race starts, and we'll see how that one plays out. Cole Custer's on the pole, so let's see how Ford manages to lose this one. They're 0 for 31, by the way. When will the pain ever end?